Hello, Hofstra fans, and welcome to another WB Mason Coaches Report with the head coach of Hofstra Men's Lacrosse, Coach Seth Tierney. Coach, how are you doing today?
Doing okay, Nick. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Happy to have you on. Coming off of a very good 13-6 win over Sacred Heart on Saturday. Why don't you break down this weekend's game that was?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, I think everybody would understand that we weren't thrilled the way we played versus St. John's. No discrediting to them. Those guys, they played hard, they played well, but we had a little bit of a bad taste that we didn't put our best foot forward last week. So we had an inspirational week of practice this past week. We knew that Sacred Heart, they probably were in a similar boat to us. They went out to Stony Brook the week before. They don't think that they played very well versus a very good Stony Brook team, and so it was two teams trying to prove themselves right from the get go and from the whistle. So we get there and we're still, we had a bumpy second quarter with some penalties, and then things, after halftime and hashing a few things out, we kind of settled in. They got the first one of the second half to make go up 6-4, and then after that, we had we went on we were fortunate to go on a run. That those runs started the face-off X, and Brian Herbert did a really good job of focusing on not only winning the face-off but getting the ball, successfully to our offense, and so that we could play offense there. The wing play was huge. When the ball was a scrum, we turned a 50-50 ball into a Hofstra ball and a Hofstra possession. Those things need to take place. Defensively, we settled down. Um, we still played physical. We took a step in that department, but we also did a better job clearing the ball. We did a better job with the turnovers, all those things that we talked about last week that we had to address. We thought at least we addressed them to a point, and there is no ceiling. We need to continue to work each and every week. The opponents will change, and we need to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at the stats after the game, I know stats don't tell the story for everything, but you definitely reduced your turnovers, and I feel that that had to have been a very big reason for why your team was able to play the way they did. And you mentioned at halftime going in 5-4 down, and you only give up one goal that entire second half in the third quarter. What did you and the coaching staff say to the team at that half break to come up with that defensive performance in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that we finally just settled in. It was an excited halftime. I will tell you that, and it was inspirational for some. And we had to challenge some of the fellas, in which we did. And my only goal with that was to have them respond, and as they did, they responded together. Credit to Sacred Heart, they played hard. They had some game plans that they stuck to, and again, they did a really nice job up there. No getting around it. We went on that second half run where things, again, it started at the face-off X. We got possession after possession there. We got them a little out of sync on their offense. Defensively, we had some other opportunities. As they could say, they had other opportunities to score. Matt Gates got his first W as a starting goalie. Again, as I said it in the newspaper, awfully proud of that young man. He wasn't even here in the fall. So all of the little stories behind the scenes that maybe people don't know, and again, part of it is we don't discuss it. We don't want to use any excuses. This is a sport where everybody's going through things. But for Matt Gates to come out, grab 11 saves, only 6 goals against, and he even admits he could have had a couple of that six. So a lot of good things. Herbert, Mac, Gates started it off, and then certainly defensively, after giving up 19 to go down to giving up six. Um, I'm proud of those guys. They had a tough week of being the punchline of a lot of things after giving up 19, and they settled in and they took it like men, and they were great. So I was proud of their courage and their resilience going forward. Now the challenge is, how do we come off a win? We know how we responded coming off a loss. Now how do we respond coming off a win?
Yeah, definitely. I would say the defensive improvement, like you said, going from giving up 19 goals one week to six the next, it's a very positive step in a very good direction. You mentioned earlier, Brian Herbert, he was just a machine at the Faceoff X. I think 19, what was it, 19 or 23, 7 ground balls. How does it feel for you knowing that you have someone so consistently good at the Faceoff X for you guys out there?
Yeah, we addressed it, Nick, when we got back to the locker room. It's not just Brian, it's Chase Patterson, and it's the other three guys that are on this face-off unit, right? So you got Nate Trickimer, you got Ben Niesman, you got Joe Bruno, and all of those guys are working towards preparing for whoever's going to be facing off. Brian Herbert is our guy right now. Chase Patterson proved that he could win face-offs as well in the St. John's game. So we're thrilled about that. But we also, those other three guys, the role that they play in the preparing of the guys that do get in on game day, it can't be unspoken about. It's got to be talked about. So that's part of it. I know Brian was upset at the end of the St. John's game. He worked on some things. He was a little cleaner off the ground. We had less bobbles after the face-off, and he did a good job of getting the ball out, um, alongside of Dominic Pryor, Michael Altman, Danny Oakes, Dylan McDermott, Dalton Seas, guys like that were on the wings. All those guys also did a great job to allow Brian to do what he does and also turn that 50-50 ball into a Hofstra ball. Those are the things that win games.
Yeah, absolutely. Being at your team's practice for, day in and day out, it's a good group on that face-off unit, not just, Brian Herbert, Chase Patterson, the other guys you mentioned, Drickimer and Joe Bruno, but everyone else, like you said, Altman, Seas, Oaks. It's a very good, I think, very underrated nationally face-off unit that you have there. Coming into this weekend now, it's the Long Island rivalry against Stony Brook, who is, I think, they're looking good. They're 2-0. They beat a couple of pretty good teams, Sacred Heart to start the year, and then Bryant this weekend. What can you say about your Long Island rival?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's the next game. We're not turning this into anything that it's not. It's just another game for us. It's the next challenge. It has nothing to do with the names on our shirt or their shirt. They're just the opponent this week, and we need to today. We need to take care of us and fix some of the mistakes that we thought we improved upon, but there's still room to grow. And then we'll start with some scouting report stuff tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. Put the final touches on it on Friday. And again, if we do everything that we're supposed to do, pass all our COVID exams, they pass all their COVID exams, then there'll be a game that breaks out here in Schuett Stadium at 1 o'clock here on Saturday, and we're looking forward to it. Last year, we don't, they played very well, and we did not. They're a very good team offensively, defensively, facing off. They scrap. Their goalie is playing well. They're very well coached, and again, it'll be a very good lacrosse game here on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, it's a good healthy rivalry, and
Yep.
you don't want to look ahead to it. You just want to keep focused on yourself, and then work on battling Stony Brook. And then after that, on Tuesday, a quick turnaround. You're hosting Wagner. They have not started their season yet. They're going to be starting it on Saturday against LIU. But what can you break down for us really quick about Wagner?
Yeah, Wagner is a team that recently, a couple years ago, Billy McCutcheon, a young man that played for me in a prior life, and he's doing a great job at Wagner. He's turned those kids are playing hard. They've got a great idea of what it's going to take to win, and in the recruiting process, he's gotten better and better and better. Kids coming in. So with that being said, it's going to be our first short turnaround. So we're going to have to get COVID tested again over the weekend after the Stony Brook game, and we'll have only a day to really prepare for Wagner. Heal. We got a couple of guys that are going to have to get back, excuse me, on a quick turnaround, and we know that they are going to be coming in here, as just a start of their season. We're going to have our hands full, but right now, Wagner is certainly on the back burner, as you know me. We'll be just talking about Hofstra in the beginning of this week, and then and Stony Brook as we start to get to the game plan stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an exciting weekend change of Hofstra men's lacrosse. Just once again, Hofstra men's lacrosse this Saturday at 1 p.m. home against Stony Brook, and then on Tuesday at 4 p.m. home against Wagner. You can find all of Hofstra men's lacrosse information on gohofstra.com. For head coach Seth Tierney, I am Nick Capitos, and thank you again for joining us for the WB Mason Coach